Iran has launched a fierce retaliation, unleashing a barrage of missiles on Israeli territory just one day after enduring an airstrike. Fresh reports shed light on the effectiveness of Israel's overnight airstrikes on Iran, revealing significant damage to nuclear facilities, strategic missile launch sites, and key military airfields. A shocking video from Tel Aviv, captured hours ago, showed Israel's interception systems scrambling to neutralize incoming Iranian missiles, with one missile striking its target in a massive explosion. The exact target remains unclear, possibly an advanced air defense system, a common missile strike objective, or one guarding a sensitive site Iran deliberately aimed for. Details about the target and the strike's aftermath are still murky. What is certain, however, is that Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, publicly announced the launch of Operation True Promise 3 as a bold counterstrike. Turning to the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, their spokesperson, Major General Deferin, provided a briefing stating that 2 waves of surface-to-surface missiles were fired from Iran targeting Israeli regions. Approximately 100 missiles were launched in this assault, most of which were successfully intercepted by Israel's advanced air defense systems or failed to reach their intended targets. Some impacts, however, caused damage to buildings, partly due to debris from interception efforts. This underscores the urgency of Israel's ongoing military campaign to neutralize Iran's threat. The IDF vowed to prevent Iran from bolstering its military might and mass-producing missiles capable of endangering Israel's existence. Interception operations may continue, with Israel deploying all necessary measures to eliminate this danger. As of now, reports indicate 21 people injured across 9 locations in Israel. Notably, Israel's early warning systems proved effective, giving civilians time to reach safe shelters and avoid streets as missiles or interception debris fell. Questions persist about whether damage resulted from direct missile hits or falling debris, a common issue in such scenarios. Images of damage in Israel show that some munitions breached the country's robust defenses. Israel hasn't claimed to have intercepted all 100 missiles. The highest reported interception rate is 97%, covering about 100 missiles and 100 drones launched on June 14 morning, totaling roughly 200 targets. This suggests that around 6 to 10 targets, possibly close to that range, penetrated Israel's air defenses, causing tangible impacts, aligning with footage from the scene. Additionally, Israel's allies appear to have aided in some interception efforts. An initial report, citing an anonymous official, confirmed U.S. military forces assisted in downing several Iran-launched drones targeting Israel, marking direct intervention by Israel's strongest ally in this conflict. On Iran's side, the IRGC issued a statement at the onset of the attack, asserting that its Air Force's missile and drone units targeted military hubs and air bases deemed sources of criminal aggression against Iran, as well as Zionist military-industrial centers used to produce missiles and weapons for crimes against resistance movements, particularly the oppressed Palestinians in Gaza. Field reports, combined with satellite imagery and intercepted intelligence, indicate dozens of ballistic missiles effectively struck key strategic targets. Despite claims of intercepting most missiles, the enemy couldn't fully halt Iran's relentless successive attacks. Available videos clearly show some missiles breaching Israel's air defenses, though Iran's claim of dozens penetrating seems exaggerated. Initial analysis estimates 6 to 8, or at most 9, missiles successfully hit specific targets, Whether these struck Iran's intended targets or achieved desired combat outcomes is another matter, and whether the strikes met strategic goals remains a key question for future clarification. Regarding unverified claims, Iranian media on June 14 morning spread various narratives, some seemingly inflated or distorted. Rumors suggested Iran downed 2 Israeli F-35 jets, complete with polished graphics. These claims lack evidence. Some images used were real, showing Iran's air defenses, but others were old, unrelated photos from years prior. Other rumors alleged Iran shot down at least 1, possibly several, Israeli F-16s over Iranian airspace, with pilots parachuting and being hunted by Iranian forces. These stories conflict, with some citing F-35s, others F-16s, and some claiming captured pilots with images that can't be found. Skepticism surrounds these claims, as a widely shared Iranian media image purporting to show a downed Israeli jet was actually a 2015 photo of a Russian plane shot down by Turkey, slightly darkened to deceive viewers. The crude reuse of old imagery, rather than AI-generated fakes, raises questions. No evidence suggests Israeli jets were downed, pilots captured, or crashed behind enemy lines. Iran must provide clear proof to substantiate such claims, but current videos only show active air defenses and civilians recording, with no wreckage or downed aircraft visible. This doesn't rule out the possibility, but no proof exists yet. Regarding these attacks, Israel signaled a robust and decisive response. Defense Minister Katz declared Iran crossed a red line by firing missiles at Israel's densely populated civilian areas, vowing to protect citizens and ensure the Ayatollah regime pays a heavy price for its crimes. Last night, Israel struck targets considered civilian, including residences, offices of military personnel, and occasionally nuclear scientists. While nuclear scientists could be seen as threats due to weapons development, many targeted sites were in crowded areas like Tehran. Conversely, Iran could argue it targeted military sites, not government buildings or civilian-filled skyscrapers. Accusations of civilian attacks may be weaponized by both sides. Katz emphasized the Ayatollah regime faces severe consequences. Whether this falls within the ongoing campaign to dismantle Iran's nuclear program, or a separate effort targeting senior officials, possibly even the Ayatollah, a seemingly wild but not impossible scenario, remains unclear. Prime Minister Netanyahu addressed Iran's people, stating, Israel is engaged in one of its largest military campaigns, Lion's Rise. He accused the Islamic regime, oppressing Iranians for nearly 50 years, of threatening Israel's destruction. The campaign aims to halt Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile threats and pave the way for Iranians to reclaim freedom. In the past 24 hours, Israel claims to have eliminated senior military commanders, top nuclear scientists, destroyed Iran's largest uranium enrichment facility, and much of its ballistic missile stockpile, with more targets in sight. Netanyahu warned the regime doesn't know what's coming, calling this its weakest moment and urging Iranians to rise up. No signs of a local uprising in Iran have emerged, though a significant portion of Iranians opposes the regime. Not all support the leadership's ambitions or policies. Whether dissent is strong enough to spark change is uncertain, as overthrowing Iran's theocracy demands immense courage and sacrifice. Videos show some Iranians chanting, "Death to Israel, death to America," celebrating attacks on Israel and hoping for strikes on the U.S. Yet, Iran is a divided nation, with many having friends in Israel and the US, yearning for peace and opposing their government's actions, a nuance to consider. Israel's June 13 night airstrikes were not isolated, but part of an ongoing campaign, potentially relentless in the near future. Iran's nuclear facilities, the core target and primary rationale, as Netanyahu and senior officials stressed in the past 24 hours, were hit. An IDF spokesperson told media that Israel struck the Isfahan nuclear facility, Iran's largest uranium enrichment site, and crippled facilities at Fordow and Natanz. Though unconfirmed officially, videos and photos show smoke rising from these sites, and 48-hour satellite imagery confirms damage at key locations. IAEA Director Rafael Grossi stated, Israel destroyed Natanz's above-ground facilities, with no clear damage to underground enrichment sites, though power loss likely disrupted centrifuges. He noted radioactive and chemical contamination, a serious issue requiring monitoring. The International Science Institute, citing satellite and field imagery, reported total destruction of Natanz's above-ground facilities, aimed at crippling the site by cutting power in the initial strike. Images show severe damage to the main outdoor substation, a hidden substation, and 2 backup gas turbine generators with smoke visible at 11 a.m. local time. The above-ground pilot fuel enrichment plant was destroyed, but the underground enrichment facility appears untargeted by ground-penetrating bombs. No clear damage was noted at buildings housing underground access, though a small structure near personnel entrances, possibly a parking lot, was destroyed. Drone or stealth attacks can't be ruled out. Power loss could severely damage centrifuges if backup power fails, halting them and causing breakdowns, temporarily disabling the facility due to power and support system failures like HVAC. Satellite imagery shows Israel didn't use bunker-buster bombs on Natanz's underground facility, despite having such capabilities, as seen in the killing of Hezbollah's Nasrallah. Destroying nuclear facilities requires multiple bunker-buster strikes across fortified sites, not a single bomb. Israel's initial strategy likely aimed to paralyze operations, cut power, and block personnel access, not just bomb mountaintops. With Iran's air defenses weakened, Israel may now launch sustained, heavier airstrikes to permanently destroy these sites. One strike could disable a facility for days or weeks, but repeated attacks could render it irreparable. Satellite imagery shows no damage to a new facility under construction at Ghazla Mountain, south of Natanz, meant for advanced centrifuge assembly and possibly a new enrichment plant. It shares Natanz's power grid, now offline except for small mobile generators, impacting Iran's current and future projects. Beyond nuclear sites, Iran has underground missile, drone, and weapon storage, as shown in its own videos. While Israel targeted above-ground weapons, reducing Iran's immediate ballistic missile response, an unknown number of underground munitions remain a concern. Israeli graphics and data show its Air Force recently struck Iran's surface-to-surface missile depots, destroying dozens of launchers, storage sites, and other military targets. A concealed launch system in shipping containers in western Iran was also eliminated. Israel noted Iran fired hundreds of surface-to-surface missiles at its territory during the conflict, making their destruction vital for citizens' safety. Iran's missiles, with ranges up to thousands of miles, threaten not only Israel, but the region and beyond. Israel released graphics showing Iran's missile reach, covering Turkey, Ukraine, China, India, and the Middle East to build international support or avoid condemnation, framing Iran's arsenal as a global threat. Israel also claims to have hit Iranian air bases, possibly destroying Iran's last operational F-4 fighters from before the 1979 Islamic Revolution. These museum-piece jets, no match for Israel's F-35s, may have been fully eliminated. The IDF reported striking Iran's Air Force bases in Hamadan and Tabriz, with Tabriz completely destroyed. The IDF also claims to have destroyed dozens of air defense systems, drones, and missile launchers. In the next 24 hours, satellite imagery may clarify damage to Iran's military airfields, verifying if complete destruction holds true. Israel can cripple an Iranian airbase short-term, but confirmation requires imagery. Assessing missile damage is harder, as most are stored underground, and Iran's launch sites are mobile, designed to evade airstrikes. Damage is spread across Iran, not concentrated like an airbase. Future satellite imagery may confirm airfield and nuclear site damage, but events are unfolding rapidly, with updates ensuring accuracy.